Hello men, this is our second monthly video release, and as promised last month, we're going to be doing this each single month with the idea of finding a way to communicate with men on men's teams. So there's a number of things we'd like to talk about this month, namely highlights of the convention we just had at the Rio Hotel in Las Vegas. Fabulous event. I'll tell you about a few of those highlights. Second, we have our dues policy coming up, and I know that everybody's really interested in that. With regard to the convention, there was, I don't even know where to begin. There were so many things that were great. The seminars were absolutely fantastic, and men just kept coming up to me time after time saying how great it was that they could find topics of their interest. They learned a lot about leadership, about how to have more successful personal lives. Success rates the highest probably in the seminars more than anything. Secondly, we had a Saturday night banquet that seemed like it was magical. I don't know another word to call that. There's everything about that. The food was off the hook is a good expression for me, especially because it was sea bass. And maybe it was on the hook and then it became off the hook. At any rate, that was great. There was a celebration up on the 51st floor of the Rio at the Voodoo Lounge. I know that there's a ton of video coverage of the convention that's being released. Greg Tennant, our videographer, just did a fantastic job of putting all that together. And probably the most important thing that came about at the convention, though, was the release of our international cause, which was to end abuse. There's a video out that everybody should be able to watch either with their team, and preferably they do see it with their team or their division, and have the energy of what it's like for men to witness that video together. It's incredibly important work, and it does the thing that we've been needing, tremendously needing in MDI, which is to find a unifying cause that pulls our organization together. Additionally, the cause, End Abuse, has the benefit of realizing that most of the work that we're now doing in MDI really does fall under the umbrella of that. There's very little we do that doesn't serve the world in some way of ending abuse. So getting in touch with this cause, if you weren't at the convention, you weren't able to be part of the men that saw this and experienced what it was like for them to see it collectively, really urge you to watch that video. The comments I got after it were phenomenal. Everybody that spoke to me said, "God, thank you for getting us together. Thanks for just a lot of gratitude for finding the thing that was going to pull our organization together, something that we could stand up for." So this cause, End Abuse, has the benefit of, like I said, pulling MDI together. It has the benefit of it being very noteworthy from a press release point of view, because how often is it that a men's organization is really standing up for issues about abuse? This is one girl right here that's never been abused in her life. And she loves me no matter what. Lucy, go lay down. And when I tell her to lay down, she does. The thing I heard probably more than anything about ending abuse was, what about men's abuse? Men are abused, not as much as women, but certainly men are abused. And the reality is that our stand against abuse and our focus is against abuse against women and abuse against families. It's true that men are also abused. However, one of the significant parts of that came out of the production of this video is the realization that women can't help women stop being abused. Only men can help men doing it. And I suspect that the reverse is true, that there's probably not much men can do about women abusing men. I do think, though, that when the issue of abuse reaches our society and it becomes not okay for us to live in a world that has abuse in it, all kinds of abuse begin to end. As a result of doing this effort, our communities and our society will have a heightened awareness of abuse in general, and that will solve that problem as well. For now, our focus is on women and children and families, which is our job as men, keep our families safe. Another item, I think for me personally, the convention, the highlight for me was an hour-long meeting with the division coordinators of MDI. It was to sit down with these men and look at their excitement, put them together and watch them draw on each other's resources and really have face-to-face time with them was phenomenal. There was an energy alive in that room that's really hard to explain. And I'm very much looking forward to something I started a few months ago, which is my calls directly with division coordinators. But this is the first time they've really sat down together and been face-to-face. Along with that, I want to announce that our May or spring leadership meeting, which is going to be in the San Francisco Bay Area, will also include the division coordinators. So we'll begin together with leadership, and the plan is to have as many DCs at that meeting as possible, and plenty of time for them to be working together to find out what works in their individual regions, find out what they can get from other regions, and ultimately become more successful as an organization that's committed to mentoring men to live with excellence and as mature masculine leaders create successful families, careers, and communities. Another highlight of the convention, and it's kind of unfortunate because unfortunate that we're sitting here talking about it because the real benefit of and the power of the convention is in the attendance of the convention. I hope that I can convey in some way how fabulous and how great it is to be face-to-face with my men and your men when we're together, what that synergy is like. We had 2 different membership meetings where it was just the men, and one of them, the Sunday morning, which is the annual membership meeting run by the board of directors actually, was a time when men can ask all kinds of questions and get answers to what those questions are, contribute their ideas and thoughts about how MDI is going to become a better organization. It's always been a thing where it's like, oh God, a meeting with the board, who wants to do that? Well, I want to tell you, this year, the meeting with the board was exciting because it wasn't just a meeting with the board, it was a meeting with our leadership of MDI. And one of the things that's significantly different in this year is the relationship between the board of directors and our operations department, which is the part of the organization that I run. We have a powerful, meaningful, on-track, unified purpose that we work together on. So being able to present ourselves as a leadership unit that has this togetherness is something we haven't been able to do before. That time when the men were able to ask those questions and get those answers and contribute their ideas was hugely beneficial to MDI and ultimately will be to you. With regard to dues, which has been a rather difficult subject for many of us during the past year, here's the short version of it. Next dues our cycle is for 6 months, and dues are due on January 1st, 2012 in the sum of $90. New members can join our organization for $90 a year and can pay in 2 $45 payments. I think it's worth mentioning that the official dues policy is available in writing, and it's somewhat complicated, but our international S1, Murat Ayas, can forward that to any man who wants it. His email address is intS1@mymdi.us. So what are the conditions of membership in MDI? One is that each member of MDI will follow the code of honor. 2, each member of MDI will subscribe to the standards and accountability of any region, division, or team that he's a member of. 3, each member of MDI will have paid dues appropriate for his membership status. 4, each member of MDI will have signed a release of liability form, which will be submitted to his regional coordinator and ultimately to our corporate office. Another consideration around membership is that members just joining MDI actually become members upon their declaration of joining. However, they do not have any voting rights until dues are actually paid, and they're not officially members until the release of liability is signed and there's an understanding of the other conditions. One of the things we were planning on doing at this year's convention but weren't able to get to it because there was a lot of other exciting things going on, was we wanted to review what the regional victories were. So we're going to do that in part, or begin that series of doing that during our monthly President's video. And each month I'll release a couple of things of what various regions have been up to each year. Thanks for watching, and next month we'll be back, same time, same channel. Thanks.